Hello PPA, I'm Jaquifius if you didn't already know, and today I'm just going to be going over some simple preseason power rankings with both divisions separately. So I'm just going to go through my list 12 to number 1 for both divisions, and hopefully you guys can see my opinion. Now a little disclaimer before I start, I'm by no means a professional, so take all my novice opinion with a grain of salt because every team will inevitably have strengths and weaknesses. So just bear that in mind while I go through these power rankings. Now we're gonna start off with the Violet Division first, and at the number 12 spot I have the Team Rocket Grunts, whose coach is Machu. Now, unfortunately for every power ranking there does have to be a number 12 spot, so it's just gonna have to be your team, Machu. I like all your teams, okay? They're all pretty good. But this one just does leave a little bit to be desired. Looking at his team, the first thing I noticed is that he does have Tatsugiri, and it really does need Dondozo to be good. Although it does have some pretty good offensive stats and a little bit of speed control with Icy Wind, it's really not doing anything but clicking Icy Wind and Draco Meteor. It's frail, and it needs Dondozo to be good, in all honesty. It also lacks a little bit of offensive presence. I see that you picked up Serena from Hypers of Vipers. Honestly, a pretty good free agent, but or trade, my bad. But I just feel like it lacks offensive presence. Volcarona, Serena kind of helped. But other than that, it's just Dragonite, maybe Magnezone. I don't see how Golduck, Grumpug, or Kamala really help the team. So it really does have to rely on a bunch of mediocre Pokemon to deal its damage. Grumpig can play somewhat of a bulky support room. It has Thick Fat, Trick Room, I believe Screens, and Oricorio. Never mind, you traded Oricorio. I take that back. I wrote some of my notes before a bit of the transactions, but yeah, this team, it does have a few flaws. Kamala's not that good. Golduck, decent moveset, but I feel like it needs Rain to function its best. But unless there's some hidden tech I don't know about, I think this team is missing a lot of pieces to make it really good. It doesn't have a solid fast or slow mode. Trading Oricorio definitely hurt its fast mode. I don't see how it sets Trick Room up besides Grumpig, maybe? I'm not sure if it gets Trick. It probably does. Grumpig. It gets Trick Room. So that's pretty much your only option of speed control. Let's see if Bombardier gets Tailwind. Bombardier gets Tailwind. Okay, never mind. You have a little bit of speed control options, but aside from that, not too much offensive presence with this team, and having a bunch of mediocre Pokemon, in the end, it really hurts your team. That's my number 12 pick. Next up is the 11th. I'm gonna have to go with the Silver Scythers, my man Pearman. Now, looking at this team, I thought it was pretty good, but as I went into it, I just think it's missing a lot to make it really stick out. Now, what I first said is that offensively, it synergizes really well. You have Braviary, Quaquaval, you have Flamigo, which could possibly synergize with a Defiant Braviary, maybe Moxie Quaquaval, Moxie Salamence, even Defiant Bisharp. I feel like Amoonguss is a great piece to counter Trick Room or just work in Trick Room. I said Gallade could be a possible Trick Room user, Tailwind Braviary, but I feel like it just lacks another good support role besides Amoonguss, obviously, which is a very good support mon, but it doesn't have any other support besides that. Gallade has an enormous moveset, which I've said a bunch, but like honestly, it is massive. It gets Destiny Bond, Close Combat, Dazzling Gleam, Heal Pulse, Helping Hand, Icy Wind, Knockoff, Screens, Memento, Mystical. I could go on forever, but its moveset is so huge. But yeah, I also said it wasn't really the best defensively. Not too many Pokemon in his team can take a hit except for Amoonguss. I don't know about Scovillain. Maybe Bisharp. I still don't know about that. Yeah, I just feel like this team's missing a few pieces, missing some support options, and defensively it's not too great. So next up is my number 10 pick, which is the Mighty Mossholds, coached by JLQ4. I know that's actually a 2 in your name, but I'm going to keep calling it Q. I don't care. So first off, sorry I sniped your mascot. I really like Spidops. It's definitely a pretty cool Pokemon. But I said it was a pretty weird team, but it honestly does work. It has solid offensive presence in Palafin, Bellibolt, Low Kicks, and Salazzle. Kind of have some tanky Pokemon with Corviknight and Greedent, maybe Clodsire, if you want to bring Unaware one week, which you totally could. It's Draft League. Anything is possible. Great synergy with Pincurchin and Bellibolt. It can be very dangerous if left unchecked. And Frigoref is a great piece to counter against Prankster or priority moves. You have an awesome support piece in Klefki. And I think all around this team is pretty decent. Pretty good team. Now what I will say is that you are missing a bit of type coverage. But that's not important with a format with Terra types. Fire, Grass, Dragon, or maybe an Ice type could help. Because you're not going to Terra type every Pokemon. You can't do that. And also, I feel like it's missing a little bit of speed control. You have Thunder Wave Klefki, but is there any way to control the speed on the field other than that? Not sure. That's my number 10. Number 9, I went with Cammy's Commies, coached by Cammy, obviously. Now, okay. I have a lot of issues with this team. A lot. Looking at it, you have 5 tier 1 picks, 580-pointer picks. You would think it'd be a great team, right? It works on ladder. It's all ladder Pokemon. Goldango, Garchomp, you have Meow, Masquerada, Rotom, Gardevoir. Maybe not Gardevoir. You have Arcanine. These are all Pokemon that dominate the ladder right now. Although it has all these high tier mons that you would see on ladder, it's predictable. You only have 9 Pokemon on your team. You're only going to bring like 4 or 5 each week, guaranteed. You're probably going to bring Goldango each week. You're probably going to bring Garchomp every week. You're probably going to bring Masquerada each week, and you're probably going to bring Arcanine each week. I don't see you bringing Snom. Stonedroner's a stretch. Honchkro's a stretch. Gardevoir, probably. So, like, you just bring the same Pokemon each week. In a draft format, that's very dangerous. Very dangerous. Super predictable. You can get countered. It sucks. It works on ladder only because your opponent knows or doesn't know what you're gonna bring. So all around, these are great Pokemon, but I don't think it's gonna work in a draft league format. But yeah, you have great support options: Rotom, Arcanine, Gardevoir. Not a great Trick Room presence, or Tailwind presence for that matter. I believe Honchkrow gets Tailwind, which could help a lot, actually. Hold up. Wait, well, Murkrow gets Tailwind, so obviously Honchkrow gets Tailwind. So you have a Tailwind setter, but it's not a great one. Not a great one. It's a slow one. I don't care if you have Masquerada, Trick Room to counter Tailwind. It can't function in Trick Room well. It really can't. That's pretty much all I have. It's a very top heavy team. So that's my number 10. Okay. Say what you want. Or number 9, my fault. So at number 8, I have the Whoopie Boys, coached by Sapphire. I love Whooper, so I love this team. So this is going to be another 9-mon team with Ceruledge, Kilowattrel, Grimmsnarl, Gastrodon, Bronzong, Breloom, Lurantis, Glimmer, Rotom. Now, when I first saw this team, I'm like, great support options. You have Grimmsnarl, Bronzong. I love Bronzong. Such a great Pokemon. Trick Room Setter, Gyro Ball, awesome. Bulky, it's amazing. Cerulege is so slept on. It is so slept on. It can honestly be running Trick Room, put an Iron Ball on it, Tailwind Trick Room, either or. But yeah, I think it's slept on because its counterpart is huge in the meta. But Cerulege is also pretty good. Bitter Blade is a very good move, and it has a great offensive typing. I think your team has decent speed control with a fast and possible slow mode. Kilowattrel, great in Tailwind. Cerulege, like I said, great in Tailwind, but also can function in Trick Room. You have a possible slow mode. Breloom's always dangerous. You could run Tailwind Spore. But I think I really like the synergy with Gastrodon, Storm Drain, plus a possible Cerulege or Glimmora to cancel out those water types. But besides Cerulege, I feel like offensively you're kind of limited to mediocre Pokemon like Kilowattrel, Breloom, Lurantis. You're not going to do too much offensively, I feel like. But other than that, it's honestly a solid team. Great number 8 on my list. Now number 7, I'm going to have to be humble and put myself. I'm not going to spoil any crazy tech, but I'll go over some obvious parts of my team. I definitely drafted the Trick Room team, my fault, but I got sniped like 8 times, so it is what it is. I didn't really flesh out the supportive side, but we'll fix that later. You don't have to worry about that. I have decent offensive coverage. Sylveon, Dragology, Mousehold maybe, but that's probably going to play more of a supportive role. Garganacle's always good. Revival Blessing on the Rabsca. But that's pretty much it. My team isn't that. I don't think it's too crazy. You know. Probably gonna want Trick Room up, but I have a possible fast mode. That is my number 8. My bad, 7. Now number 6, I'm gonna have to put my boy Lackey with the Done Dirty Dancers. First off, what is your logo? Second off, I like your team, bro. Now I will say this team will be running Trick Room. All of your Pokemon except for Dragapult are like 100 base speed or below. I'm pretty sure. Tauros is base 100. All your Pokemon are below, except Dragapult, are base 100 or below. You're gonna be running Trick Room. But it is an amazing team in Trick Room. Don't get me wrong. Armarouge, Hatterene, crazy duo right there. You have Sableye, amazing support Pokemon, speed control with that Prankster Quash, I love that. Indeedee, crazy offensive support in Psychic Terrain. Mimikyu, very usable in Trick Room, even though it does have like base 90 speed. A lot of Mimikyus do run Trick Room, or at least they did in Sword and Shield. The Dunsparce, I heard was slept on. I'm not sure what it does, but I heard it was slept on, so I'm not gonna say anything about the Dunsparce. I love the synergy between your psychic types. Love it, love it, love it. Huge Trick Room presence, but outside of it, you're kinda effed. If you can stop this team from setting up Trick Room, you will have a huge advantage already. Now, obviously, it could theoretically work outside of Trick Room. You could use Armarouge, Indeedee Male, maybe a Mimikyu Dragapult. Could theoretically work, but it'd be a bit harder to pull off. I think this is a crazy team. Definitely one to look out for. Number 5, I'm gonna have to put the Hypers of Vipers with Wally as its coach. Now, when I first wrote these power rankings, you had Volcarona, Serena. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think your grace period kind of messed you up, man. I really liked your Fire Water Grass core. You had Dondozo, Serena, Volcarona. But don't get me wrong. I think you traded for Glaceon and was it Palmod or Frostmoth? I don't know. But after the grace period, you drafted a really good Hail core. I really like Glaceon. Obama Snow is always a threat. You have Veil. You have Hail back. And it's a Titan Frostmoth. Hail, very slept on. It got buffed this generation, so we're gonna see what it can do. Especially with the Titan being super bulky. It has 170 base HP. Plus a 50% defense boost in the Hail. Could put a Soul Vest on this boy. Sheesh. He is bulky. I don't care what your defense stat is. If your HP is 170, come on. But what else did I say? I said you have support options in Palma with Fake Out, Taunt, Thunderwave, Revival Blessing. You have a nice spread of special attackers and physical attackers. Bombasnow, Goodra. Oh my god. This is honest, like defensively, this is a great team actually. Very bulky. Dondozo, you really need Tatsugiri, but defensively, this team is great. Great team. But yeah, overall, lots of offensive options, great defensively. Could be even more dangerous with the Tatsugiri. I really like this team. Definitely one to look out for. Next, I have the Los Angeles Latias with Feathers as its coach. Now, when I first looked at this team, I was like, but no, this is a team with potential. Alright? I feel like the same team in the Scarlet Division, which we will get to later, is also very good. Now, I said this has awesome support options with Murkrow, Rangaroo, Pachirisu. Great offensive synergy with the Trick Room Instruct, Rangaroo plus Skeledirge. You could easily snowball that Torch Song and then Instruct the same turn. Whew, that is some crazy tech. You have Azumarill plus the Lightning Rod Pachirisu. Redirect those Electric type moves. You have a possible Sandcore with Tyranitar and Lycanroc, but I feel like it could use a bit, like one more piece though, because Lycanroc, it's already like base 120 speed or something. I don't know exactly, but it's really fast. It doesn't need Sand Rush. I think to make this core better, you would want to add a Sand Force Hippowdon or maybe Sand Rush Houndstone. Just saying. I think you have a great Trick Room core, and defensively a very solid team. A lot of these Pokemon are bulky. Who else do you have? Excalibur, I think that was a trade you made, which is also a very decent Pokemon. Could work. Wait, let me see your speed stat. Could work in Trick Room, maybe have to slap an Iron Ball on it. Could also work in Tailwind. You do have a Tailwind mode. Great fast mode, great slow mode. Snowballing options. Definitely a team to look out for. I really like your team. Moving on, at number 3, I'm going to have to put the Nightmare Puppeteer, which, with my boy Subirus as its coach. Now, from a glance, this is a very solid team. I love your presence in Sun. You have Torkoal, Lilligant, Daxbun, my fault. Lots of tech in there. You have After You, Teeter Dance, Quiver Dance, Sleep Powder. You have the Well-Baked Body with Torkoal. You have Trick Room Synergy, Torkoal and Didi, maybe Donphan? I don't know, I think Donphan's slow. Yeah, base 50, hard hitter. It could be very threatening in Trick Room, you never know. Support roles, you have Vaporeon, Wink Wink, Lilligant, as I said. I love the After You memes. Defensively, pretty great. Orthworm, Daxbun with the Well-Baked Body. Torkoal's pretty bulky. I like what you're trying to do with Annihilate, Noivern. That could be dangerous. You could run a fast mode if done right. But other than that, I feel like in general, weather teams are pretty predictable, especially in Draft League. So while your team does synergize very well, I feel like in Draft League it does make Sun a bit worse. But you can run Trick Room, maybe Tailwind. You don't even have to run Trick Room. In Sun, your team is dangerous. So this is one to look out for, yeah. Next, at the number 2 spot, I'm going to have to put the Ampharos Association with Cat. Now, as opposed to the Trick Room Sun team we just had on the last team, we have a Tailwind Rain team. But I don't think this team really needs Tailwind to be good. I mean, it has Pelipper, Barraskewda, Toxtricity, Indeedee, Hatterene, like... Actually, my fault. I'm looking at the wrong team. My fault. This is Cat. Ampharos Association. Okay, my fault. They're two very similar teams in the Scarlet and Violet divisions. But, yeah, you have Pelipper, King Gambit, Dreadnought. I really like this team. You have great rain synergy. You have Pelipper supporting possible, Swift Swim, Beartic, Swift Swim, Dreadnought? I think Dreadnought gets Swift Swim. Dreadnought does get Swift Swim, and it has a pretty high base attack stat at 115. Dreadnought could be very threatening. I love the synergy. You could do Toxtricity with like Thunder, Electros. I mean, my bad, Electros, which is also a great Pokemon. You have the Rain, weakening fire moves. Great synergy with Heracross and Skeezor. Maybe King Gambit, but I really don't know what King Gambit does. Because I feel like it needs Trick Room to be good. Not to be good, but like to be its best. Beartic, like I said, really slapped on in draft. It's slow, but in rain, it kind of makes up for it. And with a huge attack stat, it could be very threatening. You have Dry Skin, Toxicroak, Heal and Rain, Cloyster. Not that good, but still kind of bulky and could be threatening in rain also. This is probably one of the best synergizing teams in the league, if I have to be honest with you. But for me, I think King Gambit feels really out of place. The last 100 points should probably be spent on a Trick Room setter to get a slow mode, because it doesn't really have a solid answer to Trick Room. And like the Sun team, Rain is kind of predictable in Draft League. So that's all I have for that team. Also want to look out for. And at the number 1 spot, unfortunately, we have my man Jay Ballester. This team is very dangerous, which is why it's at the number 1 spot. You have amazing offensive options in Hydreigon, one of the best Pokemon in the format. If it drops a Draco on you, it's gonna hurt. Yeah, you have Talonflame, Tinkaton, also decent offensive options that could, and keep in mind, all these Pokemon can work in Tailwind. Rotom Heat, pretty dangerous Pokemon. Toad's-a-cool, awesome support option. You have Trick Room with Espeon, Speed Control, Tailwind, Talonflame, Prankster support with Morgrim, Screens, Fake Out, Thunderwave, Fake Tears. Yeah, this is a great team. Rotom Heat is very good in a draft format. It can play a support role, offensive, Nasty Plot, Screens, Will-O-Wisp. Doesn't matter. Rotom Heat's crazy, and especially with Terra-type it to Electric, no weaknesses. Toad's-a-cool, I love Toad's-a-cool. Trick Room Setter, Spore, Rage Powder, Redirection. Great Pokemon. This team has awesome slow mode, awesome fast mode. Great offensive coverage. You can do a lot with it. Defensively, pretty great. Toxapex, bulky Pokemon. Cyclizar is honestly pretty good. Like every Pokemon on this team, I feel like has a role. Altaria, counter weather teams. Just a great team all around. I really like this team. I don't have any problems with it. But yeah, Majorca Mawwiles. Really like it. Alright, so now we're going to go into the Scarlet Division, and I'm just going to do the same thing, just go through my list, and keep in mind, all opinions from a novice, so don't take them too seriously. At my number 12, I'm going to have to put the Choice Banded Chads, coached by Basti. Now, this team, unfortunately, has a few problems. I feel like the offensive presence on this team, not the best. You have Lucario, Clawitzer, Goodra, Jolteon, Braviary. Like offensively, mediocre Pokemon. The best option is a tie between like Goodra, Jolteon, and Braviary. You have limited support options. You have Maba Stiff with Intimidate, Charm, Fake Tears, possibly. Mosshold, which is a great support Pokemon and can be used offensively with the Population Bomb. But in a draft format, I feel like Population Bomb is pretty easy to counter. Clawwits are usable, but slow and frail. Wouldn't rely on it. And the team doesn't really have a Trick Room mode. Yeah, it doesn't. It has the Titan with no Hail. Which, I mean, like I said, bulky Pokemon. By all means, but not the best outside of Hail. I think this team is really missing lots of pieces, but it still has potential. Braviary does have Tailwind. Could possibly set up Clawwitzer or a bulky Goodra. I could see Mosshold with a possible beat-up strategy with Lucario, Justified Lucario. Jolteon Voltabsorb could be decent synergy with Clawwitzer. Yeah, but that's pretty much it. This team is definitely missing a lot. But we'll see what this team can do. We will see. At number 11, I have the Sceptile Warriors, coached by Big Fudge. Now, I thought this team was pretty interesting. Defensively, very solid. You have Multiscale Dragonite, Hariyama, the Hippo, Vaporeon, Blissey, Orthworm, which are all quite bulky. You have Prankster support with Screens, Thunder Wave, or even Trick Room Klefki. You have a Priority Counter with Frigoraph. Fast and slow options, I think. Yeah, you have Gengar, you have Klefki. You have possible fast mode, possible slow mode. However, I don't see that much synergy between the Pokemon. I would try to get a Sand Abuser for Hippowdon, or maybe a Pokemon to abuse Trick Room. You have Hariyama. You have Orthworm maybe, but a lot of these Pokemon just don't synergize too well. Your only method of speed control is like Thunder Wave Klefki or Trick Room Klefki, which not too great to rely on in order to control the speed. But yeah, I just think this team's missing quite a bit. It's an interesting one. I like the mons. You have great mons. Dragonite, Hippowdon, Gengar, I love those. Absolutely slept on Pokemon. Just try to piece them together better. Next, at number 10, we have the Glasgow Greedents, coached by E. Grill. Now, this team, try to find it. I think this team has lots of potential, honestly. Who do you have? The Excalibur, Arcanine, Sneasel, Colossal, Daxbun. Okay. This team. I can already see the tech. You have Thermal Exchange, Excalibur. You have the Well-Baked Body, Daxbun. I think one of the other fire types will definitely have to proc one of those two mons. But you have great support options. You have Arcanine, Sneasel, Vivillon with the Sleep Powder and Rage Powder. Trick Room Counter and Slowbro, maybe Magnezone, I don't know. I don't think he's that slow, but put an Iron Ball on him, doesn't matter. I love the Colossal Sneasel tech, kinda giving me PTSD from Gen 8, but you have a lot of great offensive options. You have Bisharp, Magnezone, crazy hard-hitting Pokemon, but I feel like you're missing a bit of offensive coverage. Lots of fire types. I think a grass type or an electric type would help, but like I said, the format with Terra type doesn't really matter too much. I don't think you have too many speed control options. You have Trick Room Slowbro, but other than that, I don't really see many speed control options. And I think the cores seem a bit unfinished. You have part of a Steel Dragon Fairy Core. You have Magnezone, Excalibur, maybe out of Fairy type. Not sure. Oh wait, never mind. Daxbun is Fairy. I'm stupid. Don't listen to me. Daxbun is a Fairy type. Maybe out of Grass type. You could have a decent Fire Water Grass Core with Slowbro, Arcanine, missing a Grass type. But yeah, offensively could use a bit more coverage, but lots of potential. Definitely lots of potential. Lots of things you could run each week. Hard to predict, which is great in a draft format. At number 9, I'm going to have to put the Zimbabwe Zorarks, coached by Pandora. Now, right off the bat, you have awesome support options. You have Grimmsnarl, Muck, Arboliva. I definitely like this team. It has a lot of options. You can do Tailwind Haxorus, Tailwind Annihilate, both quite dangerous. On the defensive side, you have Muck, Mudsdale, Rotom, Fortress, Toxapex. Very defensive team. You could do dual screens, just mess teams' momentum up with the Grimmsnarl, Fake Out. Offensively, it's all right. You have Haxorus, you have Annihilate, Indeedee, Mudsdale. Honestly, lots of mediocre Pokemon offensively. Maybe not mediocre, but I feel like a lot of the power picks went towards Supportmon. You have Murkrow, Grimmsnarl. So you do have to, like, offensively, you do have to rely on Annihilate and Haxorus, I feel like. I'm not saying Mudsdale can't do damage. I'm not saying Indeedee can't do damage, but if you want a hard hitter, you're going to have to rely on Haxorus and Annihilate, which is unfortunate, but if you can make it work, you make it work. It's draft. You can do a lot of different things than you could on the ladder. Type coverage, not the best, but like we've been saying, Terra type fixes that. Team can be unpredictable and also can function in Trick Room or Tailwind. I think this is a solid team. We're going to see what it can do during the season. My number 8 is going to have to be my boy Vihan with the Glorious Greninjas. Now, this team, offensively, great team, but I feel like it's a bit top-heavy. You have power picks like Meowscarada, Hydreigon, Ceruledge, which really make it count, but its support options are a bit limited. You have Pachirisu with Area Impulse, Screens, Thunderwave, Super Fang. It does not get Follow Me this generation, so we're gonna see what Pachirisu can do. I like the synergy with Pachirisu, Gyarados, Lightning Rod, deflect those electric attacks. Ditto can always wreak havoc. You have exposing movesets and just copying other Pokemon. Not sure what Wingull does. I'm not sure. Because Wingull does not get Drizzle. I'm not sure what it does at all. Icy Wind? I don't know. It does have Tailwind. Tailwind, Wide Guard. Maybe a Tailwind setter? I'm not sure. I don't know why you want us to set Tailwind. You have Fletchinder. It has Wide Guard though, so I don't know. Snover? Set Hail? I don't know why you want to set Hail. It has Icy Wind. Or maybe you want to proc a weakness policy with an Ice Shard. I'm not sure. But overall, solid team. I love the offensive pressure with Meowscarada, Hydreigon. They can work very well in Tailwind. Super dangerous in Tailwind, actually. But it will have problems in Trick Room, I feel like. Unless you find a solid counter, Trick Room's definitely going to be a problem for this team. Type coverage could be better. Being top heavy is dangerous, but Terra type, game changer. Offensively, very dangerous team. I really like it. Solid team. At the number 7 spot, I have the Toronto Maple Leavannies, coached by Tuxmux. This team, Siren's already going off. This is a Trick Room team. Amoonguss, Torkoal, Oranguru, Azumarill, all functioning amazing in Trick Room. You have an amazing Sun Core with Torkoal, Lurantis, Lilligant. Like I said, Torkoal, Lilligant, crazy synergy. You have the After You, Solar Beam, Sleep Powder, Trick Room setters with Gothitelle. I think you still have Gothitelle. Yeah. Gothitelle, Gallade, Oranguru. And you have a great Firewater Grass Core. You have Torkoal, Azumarill, Lurantis. Like, overall, great Sun team, great Trick Room team. I like your support options with Amoonguss, with the Redirection, Spore, Gothitelle trapping people. You could do, like, Fake Tears. I love Fake Tears. Such a troll move. What else does it get? It gets Frisk, it gets Fake Out. Awesome support Pokemon in Gothitelle. Very slept on. do instruct shenanigans with Oranguru. Really good synergizing team. I really like the synergy. But I feel like the team is lacking like a different speed control option. It can function outside of Trick Room. It is a Sun team, don't forget. Lurantis, Solar Blade, Lilligant, Torkoal. It functions outside of Trick Room, but not well. The team is pretty slow, and if you only choose to run Sun, it could go pretty badly. I would say try to capitalize on the Noivern. Maybe draft some other Pokemon to function outside of Trick Room. You have Gallade, you do have Greedent. We'll see what you can do. But yeah, aside from that, Trick Room Sun, pretty predictable. I'm gonna be real, it is kind of predictable, which could be dangerous in a draft format, but it synergizes well, so maybe you don't have to worry about that. I really like this team. At the number 6 spot, I'm gonna have to put the ZZ Zebstrikos, coached by Xander Zone. Now this guy, ever since he's just came onto the server, has just shocked everyone. I feel like when he played in that speed tour, I feel like his team was kind of dog water, but he ended up winning it. So like, by all means, like do your thing, man. This guy drafted Fracture first round. Honestly, crazy. We're gonna see what he does with this. Like out of all the teams, this is definitely the team that I would be paying attention to the most. Aside from myself, because obviously I have to play the matches myself. But first round Fracture was absolutely crazy. I feel like I'm not sure what it does, but I really hope to see some cool stuff with it. Maybe some cool tech, or I don't know. But moving on from Fracture, you have great synergy with Slacking, Grafaiai. You have a decent Firewater Grass Core. Volcarona, Quaquaval, Rotom Mow. Have a Trick Room option with Slowking Bronzong. Looking to see if you made any transact. You have Florges, yeah. Florges, Palma, I think you made. Actually, no, you already had Palma. Oh, that's right, you traded Drifblim, okay. Drifblim for Florges? I don't know about that one, but Florges could help this team. I mean, it's good type coverage. You get a powerful Fairy type, bulky a little bit. Another Trick Room option. I think Florges is pretty slow. So this team could be pretty dangerous in Trick Room. You have Magneton, Slowking, Florges, Bronzong. Could be quite dangerous in Trick Room. Never know. But also, I think another thing I did notice was like offensive presence is also good outside of Trick Room. I mean, all around this team is pretty good. Only because I don't know what Fracture does, I'm putting it at spot 6 or spot whatever I have it at. I don't know. I feel like I really don't know what Fracture does. I'm sorry. You have Revival Blessing Palmont, great support option, Fake Out Nuzzle, Bronzong, always a great Pokemon. Great offensive coverage. I really like this team. This is a team to look out for, in my opinion. At the number 5 spot, I have the Dauntless Delibird, coached by Koi. And I'm sorry, I'm always getting you and Cat mixed up. You guys both have 3-letter names, both starting with K. My fault. Now, I thought this was another great rain team, quite similar to Cats in the Violet division. That's why I get them mixed up. But having Pelipper, and DD, Toxtricity, Barraskewda, this is a really good team. There's a fast mode with Swift Swim, Kilowattrel with Tailwind, and you have a possible Trick Room core. You have Indeedee, Hatterene, possibly Toxtricity or Crocodile. I'm not sure if you would have run that, but you have the option. You have support options with Indeedee for redirection, screens, Will-O-Wisp on Dragapult. Offensively, very threatening. You have Moxie Crocodile, you have Dragapult, which people forget was a top tier threat in Sword and Shield, so could be very dangerous in draft. Very fast Pokemon. Could run in Trick Room or Tailwind. Lots of options for this team overall, which is absolutely invaluable in a draft format. But yeah, this team has lots of options. Although weather is predictable, which is why it's not higher up. This team synergizes so well, just like its counterpart in the Violet division. Defensively, I thought the team kind of left a bit to be desired. I think they're going to have to look towards screens or an intimidate user. It has Crocodile, but defensively, not the best. Barraskewda, frail. Dragapult, a little bit frail. Who else? Pelipper, Toxtricity. All frail Pokemon. But you can make it work. We'll see. Next up at the number 4 spot. Moving up was so difficult to decide like who was at which spot. But number 4 I had to go with the Proud Palafins, coached by Furret Bang. Now this team is definitely one to look out for. I was honestly considering putting it like as high as 2. This team is pretty dangerous. You have Goldango, Rotom Heat. You have a Hail Core, I believe. Let me check. Yes, you have a Hail Core. You have Beartick, Abomasnow. That's dangerous. You have Auroraville with Abomasnow. You have Tatsugiri, which, like I said earlier, kind of dog water without Dondozo, but it can still use really powerful Draco Meteors. Icy One for speed control. You have awesome support options in Sableye, Fungus, Gardevoir with the enormous moveset. Great in draft leagues. Intimidate, Tailwind with Staraptor. You could run Trick Room with this team. You have Sporamungus. You could run a slow Beartick set, slow bulky Beartick. Iron Ball Goldango, which honestly is, I think it's kind of prevalent on the ladder, I think. Not optimal, but you could do it. Might be pretty good in draft. But overall, this is, like, offensively, this is a dangerous team with Hail, Goldango, Tailwind. It can even function in Trick Room. So this is definitely a dangerous team, one to look out for. At the number 3, I have my boy Void, coaching the Pittsburgh Poniard. Now, this team is kind of top heavy, but it does it well. It does top heavy well. You have an awesome Trick Room core, King Gambit, Armarouge, Skeledirge, possible Tailwind core with Jumpluff, Salamence. You could even run a fast Skeledirge. It's kind of in that awkward speed tier where you could run it in either Trick Room or Tailwind. It's not the best, but you could do it in either or. This team can function in and outside of Trick Room, in and outside of Tailwind. Awesome support options with Jumpluff, such an underrated Pokemon. It gets Tailwind, Rage Powder, Sleep Powder, Pollen Puff. Its moveset is so good. Offensively, it's very dangerous. You have Salamence, you have Skeledirge, King Gambit. This is honestly a really great team all around. The only thing is, the top heaviness kinda makes it a little bit predictable, and the fact that you only have 9 Pokemon is a bit dangerous for you. The absence of 2 Mons will definitely hurt you later in the season, making it easier for your opponents to prep against you. But I still think this is a very dangerous team, so it's going to be hard to prep against you regardless, you know? So moving on, at number 2, I have the Central Valley Fuecocos, coached by Luca. Now, honestly, like, between this and the number 1 spot, it was, like, interchangeable. I love your team, Luca. Your team is absolutely crazy. Your power picks are great. You have Garganacl, Palafin, Tyranitar. All great Pokemon. And they synergize with the rest of your team. Defensively, synergy is awesome. You have Corviknight, Tyranitar, plus the Garganacl. You have the Sandstream, boosting Garganacl's special defense, which is already a bulky Pokemon. I'm surprised I haven't seen more of that on the ladder. But realistically, you could give any Pokemon Rock Terra type and give any Mon the special defense boost. Like, imagine Corviknight with a 50% boost. Crazy. Breloom's always dangerous with Spore. Pretty decent offensively. You have Sand Synergy with the Sand Rush Houndstone. Houndstone. Is this Houndstone good? Sand Rush might be pretty good for it. It has base 68 speed, 101 attack. Pretty bulky Pokemon. I think it could be very good in Sand. So more Sand Synergy. You have solid support options and not Venomoth because you traded that. Traded it for a Spathra. Spathra, we saw it have some success in the Speed Tour. It has Frisk, it has Speed Boost, it could Snowball on you. It gets Ally Switch, very dangerous. Also considering that a lot of Pokemon lost it this generation, because I don't think it's a TM anymore. You have Screens, Skill Swap. Yeah, you do a lot with Spathra. It could be a Trick Room setter, but you have Toad's Cool, which also can set Trick Room. You have a decent Trick Room mode. Ursaring? I don't know who let Ursaring be in the 80 tier. It has base 130 attack. Who let that happen? Crazy Trick Room core. Overall, this is a very dangerous team. I really love your synergy. I love your offensive presence. Love your presence in and out of Trick Room. I just feel like you could maybe use a fast mode or another offensive typing core, but other than like that, your team is crazy, man. Props to you. Great draft. This is definitely a team to look out for, and hope you have a great season. Like, that's a crazy team. At number 1 is the Miami Marowak, coached by Skybits. Now, come on, dude. You didn't have to copy my team. I'm gonna be so real with you. You have Sylveon, Toxicroak, Cryogonal. You even like I have Fletchinder. You tried to take Talonflame. Like, what? Go home, bruh. But regardless of you copying me, like, it's still a pretty good team. I'm gonna be real with you. You copied my team, but you got the number 1 spot. So props to you, but you need to copy me to do it. So, offensively, Garchomp, Sylveon, Skeezor, synergize very well. Great Dragon Fairy Steel core. Rotom Wash, great support mon, great offensive mon. You could use Will-O-Wisp, Terra type into Electric. You could do Screens. A lot of stuff with Rotom. Great in draft. You have the fast mode with Tailwind, Sylveon, Garchomp, which are all super dangerous Pokemon in Tailwind, don't get me wrong. And it can also function decently in Trick Room. You have Toxicroak, Sylveon, Skeezor, decently slow Pokemon that can be pretty good in Trick Room. Support roles with Cryogonal, Morgrem, Toxicroak, who can have Redirection, Spore, Trick Room. I just think this is a pretty good team. Pretty great team. Like, I really don't see any issues with it. Garchomp, Sylveon, offensively, awesome. Type coverage, great. You have the Dragon Fairy Steel core. Skeezor, great Pokemon in Tailwind. Sylveon, great Pokemon in Tailwind. Support. This is a solid team. I don't know if it's better than the number 1 in Violet, but hey, we'll see. We will see. At the end of the day, these are my novice opinions. So, like I said, don't take anything too seriously. I encourage you all to kind of like do your own power rankings. They're all kind of fun to look at. But yeah, I hope you all have fun playing the PPA, and best of luck to all of you. Peace.